Hi guys, we are back with another FM transmitter review video. Today we have the TR510 from Retekess. You can see right here, it's an FM stereo transmitter. Now the reason why I've chosen to review this FM transmitter is because not only is it a good price, but it uses the best FM transmitter chip. This transmitter uses the QN8007 FM transmitter chip, the 8007, whereas almost all other Chinese transmitters use the BH1415F. And the BH chips are cheap, they have low quality audio, and just general lower performance, spurious signals can be put out, interference with adjacent stations with the BH chip. However, this transmitter is using the best chip, so it's going to output a very clean signal with very high quality sound. It's also got a number of settings that the normal traditional Chinese transmitters do not have. For example, pre-emphasis. You can change it. You can actually change the pre-emphasis on this transmitter. You cannot do that on the BH1415F transmitters. So, at least not easily. If you know how to solder, you can potentially modify it. But this one makes it easy. You can just change it right on the screen. So you've got that setting. It goes 76 to 108 megahertz. The step is 100 kilohertz. Frequency deviation of less than, that must be an error, because this should say 75 kilohertz. So I'm not sure what that's about, but yeah, signal to noise ratio 68, that's correct. According to the QN8007 chip, it has very good performance, so you can see that right there. Frequency response, yep. Okay, so the rest is pretty general. Now it operates on 12 volt DC. So the thing comes with the transmitter, the 12 volt power supply, the user manual, and it also came with this antenna right here. Now something to note is that online, if you look up the specs for this transmitter online, it will tell you that the transmitter has either an SMA connector or a TNC connector, not BNC. But both of those are incorrect. If we take a look, that is what is called an F connector. It's the standard type of connector that you may find on, old TV equipment, VCRs, stuff like that. So it's a very standard connector, but it is not what they list on the website. So that's something to keep in mind. If you buy this transmitter, you've got to make sure that you have something. Assuming you want to use a better antenna than this, I would recommend to use a much better antenna. Use a 1/4 ground plane antenna or a dipole antenna. And if you do so, you're going to need to be buying an adapter that adapts this to a BNC connector. Very likely you'll need that. So F to BNC adapter you'll probably need. But they do supply an antenna that you can use. This came with it. However, again, I really wouldn't recommend using this one permanently, just because having all of the RF, 5 watts of RF, coming out here next to your desk or your other equipment is probably not really great. You might have a buzz, you might have problems with interference. So using this transmitter with a ground plane antenna would be perfect. It would be very, very good. It's not really a problem, it's just that their website doesn't say it. Otherwise, this transmitter so far, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks excellent. So you can see right here, we've got an RF output adjustment. It has 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. We've got on-off, it's just a little button right here. We've got our input for our DC power. We've got our RCA audio connectors, which is nice. I like when they do that instead of those 3.5 millimeter connectors. And then you've got 2 ports for microphones, and they're the big kind. So this is really good. If you have studio microphones, you can plug the studio microphones right in there. You don't even need a mixer board. So you just plug that right in there, and it should be good to go. So what we're going to start out by doing is I'm going to power this on. We will check the power on the bird meter, as we always do. And then later on, we will check the spectrum on the spectrum analyzer to make sure it's clean. And then in a subsequent video, I may test the sound, what it sounds like on the air, basically. I just want to show that this is the adapter that I'm using right here. It's an F, converts from F to SMA. In my case, I'm using SMA. You might want to use BNC. Reason being is because I have this cable right here that has an SMA and a BNC. So that way I can plug it onto this bird meter or into my spectrum analyzer and I can get the proper readings. Okay, turns out I don't believe this transmitter is actually 5 watts. That was posted elsewhere and not on their actual website. So I'm not actually sure how many watts this transmitter is meant to be now, because I thought it was going to be 1, 2.5, and 5 watts, but I don't know. So we're going to find out. But anyway, I've got it all hooked up. You can see right here I put the adapter on the back, and I have that going into the bird meter with a 5 watt element, 50 to 125 megahertz. Alright, and now let's take a brief look at the front here. So you've got a USB port where you can plug in a flash drive containing MP3 files, or you can set it up for Bluetooth and MP3 on USB. You've got microphone volume and standard volume for the aux. So you've got 2 different volume controls. Then over here, you've got this for changing frequency. Then these things are a bunch of different settings. We'll see what that does in a second. So I'm going to turn it on and we're going to see what happens. By the way, it's set on mode 1 right now. Okay? Here we go. Okay. So we can see the frequency is set to 86 by default. It's in mono mode and it's 75 microsecond pre-emphasis. So as you can see right there, you can change the pre-emphasis and you can change stereo to mono, which is something that you cannot do on similar transmitters in this price range. So that's very good. It's got Bluetooth flashing, even though I'm not going to use it. I don't know why it's doing that, but so it should be going on low power right now, mode 1, and there it is. Okay, so it's barely, I don't know, what is that? So that's 1 watt. I don't know, it's only a couple of milliwatts, like, I don't know, 10 milliwatts. I'll put a little subtitle in there. Okay, so that's low power. Let's see. Medium power. There's medium power. Okay, so we still don't have 1 watt yet. We still don't have 1 whole watt. So this is less power than I expected. Okay, now we're on full power. And we're getting just under a watt. So like 900 milliwatts, basically. So this is essentially a 1 watt transmitter. That's what this is. I thought it was a 5 watt, but I guess it's a 1. I'm not going to complain though, because they actually don't say on their website. It said 5 watts on some other website. So I don't think they intended to advertise it that way. So this is a 1 watt transmitter using the absolute best FM transmitter chip. Okay, so we're going to do some adjustments here. We're going to look at these and this. Let's start out with this one. This one right here, if you press this, you get stereo and you get mono. So this is how you change your stereo mono setting. You just press that. Okay, so it's on mono by default. Okay, then you've got the 75 microseconds. So now I believe we press and hold this. Keep holding, and there it goes. See, now it's 50, and it changed to stereo. I'm not sure why it does that, but you press that again, it goes back to mono. So now you've got the 50. Is for the Bluetooth mode. So when you press this button, it's meant to activate the Bluetooth, but it looks like the Bluetooth is already activated. So I'm not sure why this doesn't turn the Bluetooth off. I don't know why this doesn't do anything. I'm not sure. But if you are trying to activate the Bluetooth and it's not working, this is the button for the Bluetooth. Okay? Alright guys, we are now on the spectrum analyzer. We got a bit of an issue. Let's take a look. Okay, so what we can see here is that the carrier is very good. There's very little, there's no spurs there. As we can see, this is a very high quality carrier because this is the QN8007 chip. So it's a very good quality carrier produced by that chip. Again, I said it's the best chip. However, harmonic. This one has a decent sized harmonic. I'm kind of surprised by that. it's not too challenging to put a harmonic filter on there. So I'm not sure, we'll end up seeing what they have in there after we open it up. But as you can see right there, it's right under negative 23. The carrier itself is negative 1. Okay, so it's basically the same thing as what you see there, that number. So about negative 24, something like that. Stop frequency. Gonna go down. Yeah, so it's around 157 megahertz. What it says, 78.6 right there. So that's about right. I think the indicator is slightly off. So now there's something interesting that I want to show you. So if I go to this power thing, and this is on full power right now, okay? So if I turn it on medium power, look at how much smaller that harmonic gets. So here's full power. Here's medium power. Now you can see the amount that this changes is very small, but the amount that the harmonic changes is huge. It's a very big change right there. So that's interesting. So this thing clearly has a better performance on medium power mode. And then on low power, it goes up again, which very strange. So low power, this goes up again, and this goes down more. Medium power, clearly we can see medium power has the best performance because this is down very low and this is up high. And then here's high power, and you can see that just shoots right up. Now, let's try changing the frequency, because what could be the problem here is that we're running below 87. We're running 78. So generally, in most countries, the frequencies you're going to be using are 87 to 108. So because we're running down so low, it could be that that harmonic filter is not working properly. So let's turn it. We're going to change, I'm going to press number 2. Okay, so now we're on 87.9, so that's like the bottom limit of the band. We can see there is a good improvement there. So this is full power right here. Now if I go down to medium power, now it's gone. See, now it's perfect. Now you don't see it at all. So, and if we go to low power, you see it again a little bit right there. So clearly this transmitter operates very well on medium power, as long as you don't go below 87. So if you're going to use the standard radio band of 87 to 108 with this transmitter, you can get good performance if you leave it on medium mode, and you're not going to get any harmonics at all, and you're going to get a super clean signal. We're going to move it up again. Alright, so we're now at 96. Okay, if you can see that. This is 96, so this is around the middle of the band. Okay, this is looking very good. I'm not seeing much of anything. Let's go to frequency, and we're going to go to stop frequency, and we're going to pull it up. Okay, so there's a harmonic right there, but it's really small. That's not going to have any effect at all. I wouldn't worry about that. So, and the carrier, you can see, is pretty good. It's pretty narrow. Once you get above this little skirt there, that's not bad at all. That's a very clean carrier. So right here, that's pretty low as well. So as you can tell, if you're operating above 87, you're going to get really good performance. This is on high power as well. If I go to medium power, you can see it's even better. You get nothing. I mean, this is a perfect spectrum. No issues at all. So it's only the going up to high power gives it a little bit more right here, but it's not bad. So that's at 96. Yep. All right, so let's do one more thing. We're going to raise this all the way up. I noticed some things that I'm not going to include in this video because it'll be too long. But some of the things I noticed are that, yes, the transmitter does turn itself when you adjust. When you adjust, it doesn't seem to keep transmitting, which is very good. Unlike that other transmitter that we were looking at before. So that's very good. Alright, so we're at 108 megahertz. Okay, so this is the top of the FM band. We're going to look. And as you can see, a super clean, but I've got to adjust the stop just to make sure. Yeah, it's probably that thing right there. You can barely see it. So this is a very positive result right here. This looks excellent. So what I would say is, even though this transmitter is advertised as going down to 76, don't use it below 76, because you're going to get huge harmonics coming up here that are just not good. So if you use it between 87 and 108, you're going to get really good performance, especially on medium, on number 2. Number 2 is medium. We're now on high right now. This is number 3. So if we go to number 2, you can see that that's gone completely as well. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're zooming in on the carrier. We're just going to keep zooming in on it. And we're going to see, this looks pretty good so far. Let's do a peak CF. And we're going to do the span. Yeah, as you can see, there's some stuff here, but that's all very low down. This doesn't matter. What matters is, do we have stuff going like this? Okay, so we're going to keep zooming in. Yeah, it looks very good to me. This looks pretty good. Let's try stereo. Okay, so now if we put on the stereo, okay, stereo's on. Alright. So now we can see the pilots. Let's span out a little bit. I did a little bit too much there. So that's pretty good. As you can see, what this looks like right here, we've got the main carrier, then we've got 19 kilohertz and 19 kilohertz. This provides the stereo signal. Okay, that's the stereo pilot. And then these two are the 38 kilohertz. This is the stereo sound. So the stereo sound in these two things, and then the stereo pilot in these two things. Everything else is nothing. So the fact that this is down below this line is very good, as you can see there. I would expect, normally these ones are a little bit higher up. They seem a little bit low down to me, but it is very good because it doesn't have the BH chip porcupine thing going out. As you can see, there's no porcupine. I mean, there's a little porcupine right here, but there's nothing going out here. And that's what matters the most, is that you don't have anything going out there. When we're zooming out on the carrier here, you can see there's nothing going, it's not like this wide thing like the BH chip where it goes like that. Because see, this is your frequency. This is the frequency on the dial that you're going to be broadcasting on. So there can be other stations, you know, adjacent to this. And if you have a carrier that goes like this, it can run into another carrier over here. So that's why we make sure that the carrier is narrow like that. And this one is very good. So it's not perfect, but it's very good. The only problem with this is using below 87 will give you that big harmonic. Otherwise, this is a great transmitter. I would recommend it. It uses the best chip. If you want further information on this transmitter, you can see my next video. I'll be uploading another video in, I don't know, maybe a week or something like that, where I test the audio on this transmitter, and I'll, give a thorough review of just what does it sound like, how does it function, that kind of stuff. So there's that. Check out the link in the description to Retekess website. You can get a discount on this transmitter right now. This transmitter is available on their website for, I believe, $119. So it's a really good price. They actually sent me this transmitter for free, and I was very happy about it because I'm not the type of person that will do a review on a transmitter that I don't think is good. And so I believe this transmitter is pretty good. If you want a low power transmitter and you want all of these settings and you want the best chip, this transmitter is really good. It's a much better choice than the CZE, CZH, ST7C, all of those things. This is much better. So I really recommend this transmitter. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have any comments, leave them below.